Now, felony murder, once again, is based on the 4 felonies. Now, the felony murder is you're committing a felony. There's no intent to go ahead and kill the person, but because you're committing that felony, someone dies. Okay, let's not be fooled. We're not talking about but for his parents getting married. That's the red herring. What are we talking about, ladies and gentlemen? But for the felony. Okay, that's the thinking. But for the criminal attempt at false imprisonment. But for the false imprisonment. But for the aggravated assault with the motor vehicles. But for the aggravated assault with the shotgun. He wouldn't be dead. That's how you think about it. Look at these crimes and ask yourself, okay, if we take that out, would he be alive? It's real simple. The answer is you can't take out any of these crimes. You take out any one of these crimes that they committed, and he's still alive. All of the underlying felonies played a substantial and necessary part in causing the death of Ahmaud Arbery. What do we have? Aggravated assault with a shotgun. Pretty simple. The aggravated assault was continuous. Started with pulling that shotgun up. Ahmaud Arbery was 30 to 40 yards away. Not an imminent threat at all. And what did it do? It ended with the pulling of the trigger, shotgun blast here, pellets right here. Did that felony contribute? Of course it did. It's the cause of his death. Aggravated assault with pickup trucks. I want to be real clear about this. You do not have to hit the person with the pickup truck. The judge is going to charge you that actual injury to the alleged victim need not be shown. What has to be shown? This. Were the defendant's actions such that it placed Ahmaud Arbery in reasonable fear of immediately receiving a violent injury? What did Mr. Bryan do? He actually ran him into a ditch. Check. I mean, Mr. Bryan right now, aggravated assault with his motor vehicle, check. Felony murder, check. Because this contributed to his death. This played a substantial part because it put Mr. Arbery in reasonable fear of Mr. Bryan and that truck. So what do we know? We know that Mr. Arbery was running back up Holmes when Mr. Bryan came back down, and he had to turn around at that blue mailbox. We don't see him turn around, but see how far he is at that blue mailbox, and he heads back toward the white truck. If he wasn't already in fear of Mr. Bryan and his Silverado, would he still be alive? Yes. But because of what happened over on Burford, because of the criminal attempt at false imprisonment and this aggravated assault, Mr. Arbery's dead. False imprisonment. You violate the personal liberty of Ahmaud Arbery. You unlawfully confine and detain him. Well, how do you do that? Well, you chase him down with a Ford F-150 or a Silverado. And they did confine and detain him on Holmes. Ladies and gentlemen, come on. We've looked at this. All right? What do we got? We've got Mr. Bryan chasing him up Holmes. Now, yeah, this line doesn't go far enough, because what did Travis McMichael tell the police? I stopped a few houses down, got out of my truck, and shouted at him, "Stop, stop." Now, he denied it on the stand, but that's what he told the police in his written statement, the one he had an hour to fill out, right? So Mr. Arbery got this far and had to turn back around. Then he goes back this way. Then he has to go back down this way, because now he's turned around. Now he has to come back this way once Mr. Bryan turns around. He went up and down this street at least 4 times. I mean, come on. Confined and detained on Holmes. That's false imprisonment. Up and down 4 different times, right there. Criminal attempt. You saw the Night Owl video. You saw how fast they took off after him. I mean, Gregory McMichael's yelling, "Cut him off, cut him off, cut him off." Travis denies that he did anything to cut off Mr. Arbery. Doesn't even say he pulled in front of Mr. Arbery. But for some reason, Mr. Arbery turns around and runs back. You decide what to believe. But what was he trying to do? What was his intent? He told you what his intent was. Our intent was to stop him. Can't stop somebody. United States of America. Okay? People are free here. They had no authority to demand that he stop, and they're yelling at him, "Stop, we want to talk to you." And he's running away. That's the criminal attempt by the McMichaels on Burford. Now, of course, we know the criminal attempt at false imprisonment on Mr. Bryan. He pulled out, pushed him, shoved him, did whatever, got him into a ditch. Now, those actions on Burford, did it put Ahmaud Arbery in reasonable fear of receiving bodily harm? Yes. So now what's he doing? He's running away from them. For 5 minutes, he's running away from them. If they hadn't put him in reasonable fear of receiving serious bodily harm so that he ran away from them, would he be dead? The answer is no. Therefore, that substantially contributed to his death. Because why? All right? Where did he go? He went up Holmes. Now, this whole thing of, the reason he didn't really run out this way is Mr. Albenzi was down there with a gun. Nobody has x-ray vision. Mr. Albenzi had the gun in the pocket of his overalls, okay? And what do we know Mr. Albenzi did after all this? He went home. Remember? He walks back and he goes on home. Goes on home here. So this idea that Ahmaud isn't going to run this way because Mr. Albenzi is out there, we don't know what's in the mind of Ahmaud Arbery. Not at all. But what did Mr. Bryan do? Well, Mr. Bryan got in front of him and then went to back up at him, and that's when he turned up Holmes. Those are the words of Mr. Bryan. I pulled in front of him, I backed up at him, and that's when he turned up Holmes. Therefore, the criminal attempt at false imprisonment substantially contributed to the felony murder. Based on that alone, ladies and gentlemen, criminal attempt at false imprisonment, guilty. Felony murder for that, on all of them. Mr. Bryan included, and the McMichaels, guilty on felony murder. So, but for his actions, would Ahmaud still be alive? If he had not helped to stop Ahmaud with his Silverado, would Ahmaud still be alive? The answer is, yes, he would have been. That's all you got to think about is, well, what did he do to contribute to help the McMichaels? The answer is yes. Mr. Bryan played a substantial and necessary part in causing his death. He is responsible for the murder of Ahmaud Arbery.